And once we have covered how we can destructure objects as well as array, now let's take a look at how it would really help us when we're working with functions. Because of course, with functions, we can pass as an argument the object. In our case, I'm just going to say there's going to be person, and then within that object, there has to be a property of first. And then when I run my function, the print person function, of course, I'm just printing out Bob because I'm passing in the Bob object. And it's the same scenario where if I'm passing in, of course, my object, I would need to go person.first, person.last, person.city. And you can already imagine that, again, it is quite annoying. So how we can use destructuring to simplify our code? Well, first, we could just simply do a destructuring just like we learned in the previous video, where I could just say const, then from the person, what I'm going to be getting. I'm going to be getting first, last, city. I'm not going to print all of them because we already covered, and then we're going to go with person. So that way, I'm right away have access to all my variables. And then we can just simply console log first, last, city, and you're going to see that we right away access Bob, Sanders, and then Chicago. But we can even simplify our code more. Now I'm going to leave this for your reference, just so you know that we can do that. And we can right away destructure it within the parentheses. So now I'm going to be getting a object. And then from the object, the properties I would like to destructure is going to be first, then the last, and then the city. Please keep in mind that all the rules that we covered in the previous video still apply. We could access the alias here. We could right away set up the alias. We could, let's say, access the nested one, the sibling one, everything that we covered in the last video. The difference, though, in that in this case, I'm destructuring right here within the parentheses where I'm working with my parameter. So instead of passing in the parameter as the whole object, well, you just destructure the properties right away. And this is a very, very common syntax when you're using React. This is something you're going to be doing a lot. When, if you're working with React, you have the components, and then since you're passing in the props, you're going to destructure them right away. This is the pattern you're going to see all over the React code. And then, of course, in my console, I still have Bob, Sanders, and Chicago, and everything works as expected. And last thing that I would want to mention that both of the lines, so the line 16, as well as when we work within the parentheses, do the same thing. And this is just a bit quicker, where we just don't need to assign the person. I just say I'm going to be getting an object, and from that object, these are the properties I would like to access. First, last, then if I would want to give an alias, I could give an alias. If I would want to access the nested one, then of course I'm just going to have a colon, then equal to an object, and then I'm going to look for my sister property.